In 1996, the Eskaya community was awarded a certificate of ancestral domain claim by President Fidel Ramos. An official census of the Eskaya population has not yet been made. One report estimates that in 1991 there were 130 Eskaya families living in Bohol. Language and script. The Eskayas speak a Boholano dialect of Cebuano in daily life. Boholano Bisaya is the dominantly used language among the languages spoken by the members of the Eskayan tribe. This variety is used in their close familial interactions, in their conversations with their neighbors in the community, in their transactions in the barangay, school meetings, social gatherings, church rituals and in the trade and commerce. However, they are better known for an auxiliary language, known as Eskayan, or Iniskaya, which is used for prayers, songs, and formal speeches. Lexically, Eskayan shows no clear relationship with any known language, however, considered to be an encryption of Cebuano, although there is strong but inconsistent Spanish influence. A striking feature of the language is its unusual phonotactics. The Eskayan writing system takes the form of a syllabary of over 1,000 characters, all modeled on parts of the human body including internal organs. This unique script has been compared variously to Phoenician, Etruscan, Hebrew, and even the undeciphered script of the Butuan paleograph. While there are no mother tongue speakers of Eskayan, it is taught to both adults and children in volunteer-run cultural schools. The Eskayan language and script has been the object of ongoing controversy. Religion. Under the direction of Mariano Datahan, the group converted en masse to the nascent Philippine Independent Church in about 1902. Community members revere the entity Suno, which is conflated with the Santo Niño, and in addition to weekly church services they are served by appointed spiritual leaders known as Biki and Bariki. The Biki, or bishop, is responsible for performing harvest ceremonies and other rituals such as house blessing. Before a house can be constructed, a ritual is performed in which a spiritual leader asks the permission of the spirits. If permission is not granted, the builder must select a new site. The Eskaya also retain spiritual traditions once widespread in lowland Boholano rural communities. Eskaya Society. The teaching of Eskayan in the volunteer schools is one of the few remaining cultural practices of the Eskaya community. Formerly, Eskaya men would wear shirts made of piña raffia with a Chinese-style collar, black breeches, and cotton berets. Women wore piña dresses with bulging sleeves similar to the Spanish-influenced Boholano style, mostly in biabas, and covered their hair with cotton habits, mostly in tete. Traditionally, women were not permitted to cut their hair short nor wear trousers, and drinking and dancing were universally prohibited. For the most part these customs have been discontinued, however traditional dress is sometimes worn on Sundays and special occasions. At weddings the parents of the bride offer the couple a glass of water and a comb. The comb is dipped in the water and run through the hair of both bride and groom. Rice is then showered on the couple, connoting plenty. Until recently, the Eskaya practiced a form of communal farming in which a portion of land was tilled for the benefit of the whole community. Literature and mythology. Eskaya literature was first dictated for transcription by Mariano Datahan, whose words were recorded by personal scribes. These texts, which comprise local oral history and regional folklore, have sometimes been referred to by journalists as the Karang Mga Libro or Old Books. The transcribed oral literature is mostly written in both Cebuano and Eskayan, one is reported to be in Spanish. The Eskaya stories are fundamental to the community's understanding of itself, particularly its origins, belief systems, and practices. One legend tells of how the group first arrived in Bohol from Sumatra. Their first leader, Danko, had 12 children who settled near Antiquera before moving east. Various other Eskayan legends recount the stories of Boholano kings and heroes. A few of these stories even make reference to actual historical figures such as Jesus Christ, Datu Sikatuna, Ferdinand Magellan, and Francisco Dago Hoy Sendridges. As part of their cultural education, students must transcribe 5 of these texts into lined textbooks at the Eskaya schools. The Eskaya writings mentioned by researchers are as follows: Abadeha, ang alpabeto sa Katsila, ang damgo ni Harihaber, ang lingane na Ugas, ang mga hiyas ug cog ni Mariano Datahan, ang pagtulanan sa Visayas, Arithmetica, Ascormos Maneme, Atakizas, Visayan Declarado, Dalinda, Granada, Quadra, Pamatasan, Panay, Pinalungan, Rangnan, Simplet, Suno, Tumao and Unang Dao sa Bisaya sa Bohol. Identical texts sometimes go by different names and larger texts may subsume smaller ones. Brenda Abrigana, a former curator of the Bohol Museum, has mentioned a folded book of esoteric knowledge written in Spanish, but its existence has not been established. History. Although the Eskaya had been known to people living in the vicinity of Bohol's southeast highlands prior to World War II, it was only in the early 1980s that they came to wider public attention when government agricultural advisors toured the province to introduce Green Revolution policies. Local journalists and researchers have since suggested various theories on the origins of the Eskaya, but there is still no broad consensus on the subject. As far as documented evidence is concerned, genealogies attest that many of the predecessors of those living in the communities today originally came from the town of Lune on Bohol's western coast. Mariano Datahan is reported to have arrived at the site of present-day Biabas at the turn of the 20th century. The Philippine Independent Church in Biabas was established in 1902. Datahan wrote a letter to President Manuel Quezon in 1937, and the resistance hero Col. Esteban Bernito records a meeting with Datahan in Biabas in 1944. A project to document the history of the Eskaya community via the Eskayan language is presently being undertaken at the Australian National University. Theories and controversies. The Eskaya community has been the object of ongoing controversy, particularly with regards to its status as an indigenous group and the classification of the Eskayan language. Intense speculation in the 1980s and 1990s on the part of journalists and lay historians generated a number of theories that continue to be elaborated without resolution. It has been argued variously that the Eskaya are a remnant of the original indigenous settlers on Bohol, that they migrated to Bohol from Sumatra in the 7th century AD, that they are descendants of the resistance groups that fought under Francisco Dagohoy, that they are a cult or secret society, or that they are a conscious reconstruction of an imagined pre-colonial society. Some of the more unusual proposals are that the Eskaya people are a Semitic proto-Christian tribe, that they possess the lost Book of Enoch, that they are descended from the builders of King Solomon's temple, that their existence proves the imminence of a second Messiah in Bohol, or that they guard esoteric secrets. Likewise, the Eskayan speech variety has been associated with languages as disparate as Hebrew, Greek, and Etruscan. Recent studies have revealed that the syntax of Eskayan is virtually identical to that of Boholano Visayan, lending weight to the theory that Eskayan is actually an auxiliary variety of this language. Popular culture. In an article written by Nikki Wong for the Manila Standard Today on 25 March 2009, Boholano actor Cesar Montano mentioned that he was interested in producing a feature film on the Eskaya. The following month, Montano announced a working title for his project, Eskaya, The Quick Brown Fox, and discussed his casting preferences, which included the possibility of A-list Hollywood actors like Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise, with Manny Pacquiao in the lead role. The story concerns a wealthy, influential American who is wrongfully implicated in a crime. To prove his innocence, he tracks the only witness to the crime into the forests of Bohol, where he encounters the Eskaya tribe. Notes references sources. Further reading. External links. Eskaya Beach Resort and Spa.